Hello, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and I'm back in Tierrasanta, and I am on Antigua Boulevard at its junction with Santo Road, and I am entering North Shepherd Canyon. So this is the lower part of North Shepherd Canyon, which is going to be bisected by a road, and there's going to be an upper part beyond it. Across the street is East Shepherd Canyon. So this is North Shepherd Canyon. This is the lower part. Haven't been to this one yet. Been to East Shepherd Canyon a few years ago. Now I'm exploring North Shepherd Canyon. I've explored West Shepherd Canyon, and I've explored East Shepherd Canyon. Now it's time for North Shepherd Canyon. So let's see what kind of treats are in store for us today. It's probably about close to 10:30 by now. Got a very late start today. I haven't really been. Yeah, it's actually 10:45 already. Started out very, kind of unmotivated. I'm trying to get over a really nasty cough. Not so much a cough, but more of a throat tickle, which was a pretty energy sapping head cold last week, which kept me off the trails. B was also quite unseasonably hot last week too. It was in the mid 80s this time last week. And we're heading for more of the same next week. Looking at the extended forecast through the entire first half of December is going to be unseasonably warm, if not hot, if not downright hot on some occasions, and no rain in sight. After our brief stint with a fairly moderate amount of rain in the early mid part of November, we're pretty much back in the same dry stretch again. But yeah, let's see what this place has to offer. I didn't know what I was going to get into today, if anything at all. But I already missed last week, and I didn't want to miss 2 weeks because I don't know if I'm going to be going out next week. It's supposed to be downright hot next week out here. If anything, maybe up in the mountains where it won't be as hot. But, well, we'll see. Just take a little stroll today. We'll see what kind of things we have lining up today. All right, we got a pretty big lemonade berry right here, lining the side of the trail here. So I guess from the imagery, this canyon is bisected by a road. I forget the name of the road. I don't know if it's Portobello. I think it's Portobello Drive. Or no, I'm not sure. If either Portobello Drive bisects it or borders it at the north end. I'll find out. We'll see. I'm going to try to just have a nice, peaceful, relaxing day. I'm going to apologize in advance if you hear me hocking my lungs out. My throat's been tickling me for the last several days. It's been very annoying. So you might hear me do a few dry heaves and a couple of coughs. There's a pretty decent sized little sumac right here. This one's a beauty right here. Quite a handsome specimen. And we got Broombaccharis and seed. It's the time of year where these seeds will be flying on the breeze. So, a little cairn. Guess it leads up to the house over there. Alright. You guys get a few photos of this area and see how far this adventure takes me. I plan to at least go to the north terminus of this canyon, which is basically upper North Shepherd Canyon. And we'll see. On the way back, I might take a few of these little offshoots that I think are just little dead-end paths. But let's get some photos and I'll see you up the way. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Here's a quite beautiful toyon right here. Its pomes are fully ripened, crimson red. Very much decorating the side of this path. Now we got some very large stemmed lemonade berries over here with some pretty decent sized trunks on them. It's a pretty respectable sized specimens. And the fact that we did have some rain last month livened up some of the sage scrub over here. We've got some white sage and the leaves are starting to plump up. And they're very strongly aromatic. Once these things plump up after the first rains, then the leaves become juicier. Not quite succulent, but definitely plumped up and very much more aromatic than during the dry season. And they can be quite aromatic during the dry season to begin with. And here we go. California sagebrush starting to get some new growth on it after the long summer dry season. So we got a mixture of white sage, black sage, California sagebrush, and some quite luscious lemonade berry and toyon. I think it's here. Here's a kind of a sad sight though. This poor Rhamnus crocea, this poor spiny red berry, looks like it's kind of on its way out, which is kind of sad. It was a pretty decent sized one. But yeah, some of these lemonade berries have some pretty respectable trunks on them. And of course, as I pointed out earlier, there's a lot of broombackers here. It just completely covers this area, which has probably been disturbed countless times. So the soil has been disturbed a lot over the decades, and Broombaccarus is great at colonizing, excluding a lot of the non-native plants that otherwise would. Not all, but a lot of them. So Broombaccarus coming back after a disturbance is always a good thing because it's a native plant that's trying to beat out the non-native weeds and other types of plants. So it's always good to see at least a native plant taking over. That's what a lot of Baccharis does. It comes, and a lot of times it'll outcompete some of the larger non-native shrubs too, avoiding, if they come back quickly enough, can avoid stands of tamarisk and stuff like that, other non-native plants that would otherwise take over, take the resources away from the native flora. There we go. And we got buckwheat in the mix too. Nice eucalyptus woodland on this side. It's like a mixture of Comodulensis and Cladocalix. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice little canyon. At least it got me out of the house for a while. Been kind of under the weather and kind of gloomy. Had a kind of gloomy temper over the last couple weeks. Work's been abhorrently depressing, and getting sick last week didn't help. Oh, there's some Coach Choya across the way too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a video about my latest gardening exploits, because I have been putting a little bit of work in growing a garden in my place where I'm living now, and which does include Coast cholla that I rooted from fallen stems on the side of a road one day. Back in September, I collected a bunch of Coast cholla stems that had fallen to the ground, and they pretty much rooted into their pots, and a couple of them are sending up new stems, so I'm gonna have to do a video on that pretty soon too. So I haven't done a lot of gardening in the last few years, and I'm finally getting back into a little bit of the groove. It's not nearly as extensive as the last garden I had, but it's definitely starting to burgeon, and it's always a good sign. Crossing through a small riparian section full of cattails. Now we're entering a Eucalyptus commodulensis and Eucalyptus cladocalyx woodland here. These are commodulensis right here. The ones behind are cladocalyx. Got a little water down there. There's something interesting growing in here. Make sure I don't touch any poison oak if there's any here. Something interesting. Looks like some kind of podocarp or something. Right here. Some podocarp. I think that's a conifer. I think. Might be. I don't think that's Afrocarpus gracilior. Foliage looks a little different. That could be a conifer. Some kind of Podocarpaceae probably. Yeah, I just got established down here all at the random. Interesting. Okay. Alright. So I'm already at the first row, so this is a pretty short trail. Hoping this can be at least a little longer. This is basically going to go across that small street right there. Now we're in the Eucalyptus cladocalyx woodland here. There's a lot of this here in Tierrasanta. I'll just follow that, but I'm going to go veer off here for a minute and see what I can find over here after I take a few more pictures. I was trying to figure out what kind of tree that is right there. I don't think it's alive. I was thinking maybe it was just a winter deciduous tree. I mean, it is December, but a lot of trees still have their leaves on them out here. Looking through some really tall mustards over here. Now, these are Brazilian pepper trees here. And then now we got red ironbark. Right here, these are red ironbarks. The ones with the regular whitish flowers. Now there's a variant, or a cultivated variant, that gets pinkish flowers, rosea, but these are the original Eucalyptus sideroxylon. And of course more cladocalyx in the back there. Well, here's a healthier spiny red berry that's still looking pretty healthy. Here's another Rhamnus crocea. Bunch of Aleppo pine seedlings. Wow, actually, those might be Canary Island pine seedlings. Some seedling growth. Yeah, because we got Canary Island pines back there. Pinus canariensis. But on the other, along this way, there are a lot of Aleppo pines as well. So it could be either or. But yeah, back to the spiny redberry. It's a very nice specimen with slightly larger than usual leaves because it gets shaded here. Probably moisture stays longer here after it rains. Very beautiful specimen too. Nice little place just to stretch your legs. This is going to be a big monster hike. Yeah, more California sagebrush here. Some coastal deer broom kind of off there. Of course, you can see it has, like I said, we did get some rain last month. So we did get some rain, as evidenced by the green up here. This area is not irrigated. So maybe we'll be able to avoid fire danger for a little while. We do have some splitting off pathways. There's one that goes up that way towards the road. There's the one that goes a little more directly to the road. And it looks like, let me see how far this goes. I said I kind of want to explore this and be a little more comprehensive in my visit of this area. Yeah, up there, those are the Aleppo pines. I'm telling you. That are growing in this area. Pretty nice here. That Aleppo pine up there is pretty decent size, actually. Looks like this was an old road or something. Kind of curious where this goes. Some prickly pear thickets. There we go. I definitely have to be counting my blessings now, because now I am the proud grower of this species here. Again, Coast Cholla, Cylindra puntia prolifera. I am proudly and happily growing this at home right now. So, yeah, I'm on my way to having that scenery right there. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, this goes on for a little bit. Yeah, cool. Kind of like this. Oh, here's a taller red berry right here. Look at this Rhamnus crocea. This is a handsome one. I love this plant a lot. Oh, got another species of eucalyptus here too. Oh yeah, got another type of silver dollar gum right here. This one right here is the Eucalyptus cinerea. Cool, look at that. Yeah, it's a small, beautiful tree. Look at that. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to photo some of this too. Some type of a wattle tree, acacia, probably an Australian species down here. It's nothing I recognize at the species level, but yeah, it's re-blooming. Right here, you get a better angle of it. It's got very narrow phyllodes, which are basically twigs that function as leaves. Small clusters of yellow blossoms right there in the center. Yeah, I have no idea what species this is, but it has very narrow phyllodes. Narrower than most of our other wattle species. This might be a closer look here. Right here is what I'm enjoying. Right here. Gotta find out what species this is. If I find out soon enough before the video gets uploaded, the name will be on the screen. Not much fragrance. Some of these are very sweetly perfumed. There's a slight perfume, very, very slight. Time for a few pictures of this because you need this to help me identify it. Whatever it is, it's kind of smooth grayish bark. It's like more of a large shrub. A couple of them over there. Yeah, I can't tell you what species it is as of filming. All I know is that it's a wattle or acacia, and it's most likely native to Australia. Ooh, we're gonna have to watch out over here. I found some poison oak. Yeah, I got poison oak growing here too. Just gotta watch out where I step. Yeah. I think I got past it, I think. That was a little tiny bit of poison oak right there. Really tiny little carpet of it. Smells incredible down here too, I gotta admit. The extra moisture from the rains from last month are still being drawn out in the tissues of these plants. Yeah, pretty nice little spot over here. I think this is where our path is going to end here. This will basically be my first big stop on the hike, but I just want to explore what I could over here because it is pretty interesting. Very shallow. It's a very shallow canyon. Whoa! There's a red-tailed hawk. Oh, the red-tailed hawk right there. Here it's coming back. I think it's a red-tailed hawk. Yeah, definitely a red-tailed hawk. I saw the brownish red coloring underneath the tail, and that's how I knew. Ooh, I hear a... Oh no, I was thinking that was a Polyoptila californica gnatcatcher. But no, that doesn't have quite the pitch I would expect on Polyoptila californica. There's a patch of prickly pear here. I'm not sure if this one's a full species or if this is a hybrid. Let me see if I can look at the cross section. Cross section's kind of round. So this, I think. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, I'm not trying to freaking prick myself too much. It kind of looks more like a Puntia littoralis, but I don't know if this is pure littoralis or not. Usually I'd expect more densely packed large spines on the pads, but the cross section, some of them look kind of roundish, which is indicative of Puntia littoralis. There's an older white sage right here. Look at this handsome guy. This is one plant I do have at home too, but I didn't grow it myself. I ordered it from Las Pilitas Nursery. I have a couple of white sages I put in the ground. Really small, they're really tiny plants right now, maybe 4 inches tall. 2 of them are kind of looking stunted, and one of them looks like it's starting to get a little oomph to it. That's a pretty cool little canyon bottom. Like I said, there's not a really big mountain slope on each side. It's a really shallow mesa. But it's just deep enough to have all this pretty landscape over here. And I saw some other prickly pears that look very interesting over on this side, which I'm going to go explore right now. before I start walking back to the junction. Yeah, I think we might have ourselves possibly a chaparral prickly pear. Maybe. This one's upright like Opuntia auricola, and the density of the spines is definitely indicative of Opuntia auricola. I would have expected a little bit more rounding, than oval shape, but the upright stature of this is definitely indicative of auricola. Auricola tends to have very densely packed long spines on their pads, and the pads often have a slightly more circular shape than our other native prickly pears. Let me go around the other side. I guess that wasn't really a good idea. Yeah. So that could potentially have hybrid DNA in it too. Prickly pears can hybridize and do hybridize. So I'm wondering if that has more influence from the Opuntia auricola side. Could be a hybrid between Opuntia littoralis and auricola, or Opuntia auricola and occidentalis, which is a hybrid itself. It's very handsome plant though. If I were a little more confident in its identification, I would consider doing a spotlight video. There's some prickly pear pads that are growing. Our native cactus plants are very fun to grow. And they're quite easy from pads and stems. And I'm talking about the Opuntioids. The Cylindropuntia and Opuntia species can be quite easy to grow from pads by just simply sticking a pad in dirt, and to jumpstart the process, give it some water and stuff. Alright, so to get past this pole here, I'm going to have to kind of be on the on the lookout for the little patch of poison oak so I don't step into it. I'm going to go ahead and pass this spot here, and I'll see you on the next clip. On this side here, we have a small Aleppo pine that I got established here in the canyon bottom. It looks like it's struggling though. It doesn't look very vigorous. It was vigorous at one point, but it looks like it's not having such a good time right now. It's kind of sad. So I have really stepped carefully through. There are lots of little tiny pieces of poison oak that are like this tall sticking out. So I was really being careful. It's a pretty nice little wooded spot right here that I will say. It's pretty nice and relaxing. Looks like we got a little establishment down here of the prostrate wattle. Acacia redolens starting to naturalize down here too. This is a very commonly landscaped shrub here in Southern California in these lower, milder elevations. And these things have been starting to naturalize in our wildlands a little bit. Now, this is not what we call pristine wilderness, in other words, pristine, all natural vegetation. But they do sometimes establish in the wildlands. I know I've seen some planted, I think, up on the slope a little bit here and there. So yeah, it's naturalizing a little bit down here. Some of these cladocalix trees are getting pretty tall down here. stroll down here. Like I said, the fragrance down here is a mixture of our native plants and our non-native plants that are resinous and aromatic. Pretty cool. I'll shoot another picture or two and keep working my way back towards the junction. There's a very handsome older stem black sage. Yeah. Again, since it's rained here, the essential oils are really coming out in the plumped up leaves of it. It's giving off a very intoxicating aroma right now. This way. Yeah, this is the path right here. Just to get off of it a little bit. Definitely wanted to check out this part here too. Yeah. Not gonna lie, there's definitely some treasures down here too. Some cool botanical natives and non-native treasures that are pretty neat to kick back and appreciate. We saw some of the willows are still coloring right now too. Like I said in other videos, those are usually pretty late to go deciduous. Sometimes they'll still have leaves on them, sometimes as late as January before they finally generally shed them off. Oh, we got here Southern California clematis, or virgin's bowers. Some clematis passiflora. It's really nice to see it coming back. They go deciduous in summer. That's why they're leafing out now, because they finally got rain. That's always a nice, cheerful little clematis plant. Now, other species of clematis generally have much huger leaves, much bigger leaves, much larger vines, and much bigger flowers, and bigger crazy seed heads. But that little passiflora one always seems to come up, and I come across that one the most often. And that's a little charmer. Definitely a cool plant adapted to coastal sage scrub, denser coastal sage scrub on north-facing slopes, chaparral, and woodlands. Now we have two other larger species with generally much larger leaves, much larger flower clusters, much larger seed heads, and that's Clematis lasiantha and Clematis ligusticiflora, which I still forget which one is generally more out in the open, and the other one is more out in more densely wooded areas, and you'll find those sometimes too. I usually come across the one in the woodlands. Leaves get large, and you'll have these cluster of stems dangling from the trees. Sometimes you got to watch out if you're going to be ducking under poison oak or clematis. Clematis, oppositely arranged leaves, in other words, opposite buds on the twigs. Poison oak, alternative. All right, I'm just about at the road. I'm going to cross this and start my next journey. And we'll see. Okay, comes the upper part. Let's see what's in store for us on this side. First of all, we start off in a lovely woodland here. Mostly, again, Eucalyptus cladocalyx. So let's go see where this goes. So yeah, just crossed the road. You can see above this embankment here. And now I'm going to see what kind of juiciness this place has. in store. All right. So this is upper North Shepherd Canyon. We got here, isn't this kind of lush toyon right here? That's quite a handsome one here. Multi-trunk thicket, beautiful toyon. Not much in the way on fruit. Still a beautiful plant though. Still very much a treat. I got a little more fall color up this way too. So let's see. Are gonna be any little botanical surprises? I hope so. It would be nice. Otherwise, it's still very much a nice area just to saunter if you're not looking for anything major, anything difficult. Which I'm still trying to get the craziness out of my chest, the coughing and stuff. Yeah, I know I've been mentioning about fall color. I've not really worked on a fall color video. This year is probably going to be a kind of a dud year. Not because I didn't see fall color, but I really didn't focus on getting content. So I might see if I still have some content from other videos where I can maybe drag it out and see if I can get a little, like a short, really short video maybe. We'll see about that. We got a little coast live oak sapling here. Nice. A little Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia. We do have some pretty nice fall color on that side of the canyon there. See some sweet gum trees that are red and purple. Actually, we do grow a few trees here in Southern California that get anywhere from red to purple fall color. And I'll show you them a little more up ahead when I'm a little closer. Wow, yeah. It's a pretty narrow canyon, but it's beautiful here. We got more buckwheats. I wonder what variant I'm looking at here. I think this is the coastal one, I think. Every now and then, sometimes I get a little confused as to the coastal versus the inland foothill buckwheat. I usually use context of where I'm finding it to differentiate. Alright, so we're coming up on some fall color. Oh, here we go, some native fall color. Gooding's willow, Sally's Gooding-y. And looks like we got a red willow here. Red willow, yeah. Red willow doesn't usually color as much. Oh, there's actually a road over here. So I'm gonna go follow this. I'm just gonna take a little detour. So this will be stop number 2 on my map. And we got a Chinese flame tree in here. These things usually color much later. This thing's got massive leaves on it. I've never seen a Chinese flame tree. This is Colereteria bipinata. Never seen them with such huge leaves on them. Yeah. This is not a leaf. This is a leaflet. This is not a full leaf. This is a leaflet. This I'm touching here. This whole thing is an entire leaf. So it's divided twice, bipinnately compound, into leaflets. Crazy. Usually out. And here's a coast live oak right here. Look at this handsome coast live oak right here. Looks like this one did an acorn drop this year, I think. Here's a Gooding's willow. We're up close. A little bit of its fall color on it. Let's go head up this way. I didn't realize there was an entrance over here too. Pretty nice. Alright, so this will be stop number 2. Some more Contifloinix right here. Got king palms and queen palms. And here's one palm I never could figure out what type this is here with the flared base. Never could figure out what species that is. There we go, got some pygmy dates. Pretty cool. Alright, so that was stop 2. Cool. A couple more detours than I thought there would be. I thought it was just a straight through hike, but I'm kind of glad that there are a few detours I can take to enhance my enjoyment of this lovely spot. That's interesting. And these are small. These are just little sapling size Chinese flame trees. Right next to it's a Eucalyptus commondalensis. And of course, the ever fragrant Baccharis salicifolia subspecies salicifolia, the meal fat. It's another plant that takes up disturbed sites and especially in riparian areas and near riparian areas. Not always, but a lot of the times. Alright, so that's from whence I came. This is where I'm going now. So it's a very gradual incline from what I saw on Google Earth to get from where I started to where I'm going to turn around. Oh, it's cracked a rock under my shoe. So maybe we'll get some views. Alright. Oh yeah, there's some of that fall color there. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, that California sagebrush starting to leaf out because of the rains. Alright, here's the tree out. Ooh, F-16. Looks like an F-16 right there. I think. Oh no, I think that was an F-15. I think. Couldn't tell. Or was it an F-A-18? Nah. Actually, I think it was an F-18. I was kind of misspoke. Alright, I'm tripping. Alright, enough of that. This is what I was talking about right here. Sweet gum tree turning deep red and purple. Liquid ambar steraciflua. Native mostly to the eastern half of North America. But it goes all the way down to Guatemala too, in the mountains. Yeah. That one changes different colors out here. Some of them barely turn yellow and drop off. Some of them turn orange, yellow, and red. Some mostly turn red, scarlet red, crimson red, and some of them will get that purple. A lot of the ones that have the purple seem to have the longest lasting fall color. Sometimes the fall color on sweet gum can last a very long time. I think that's Portobello there, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think that's Portobello. Well, yeah, I think I get a good view of North Fortuna Mountain and Mission Trails. I was over there just over a month ago. That was a pretty neat loop hike I did. Spent a lot of my mileage actually on the neighborhood streets to get back to my car because I didn't want to do all the crazy climbing up and over every hill and dale in the park. Plus it was getting hot and I knew my energy levels going down the tube. But that was an amazing hike. That last hike at Mission Trails, that was amazing. Great scenery. Alright. Huh. It's an interesting formation there. A Greek cross. Pretty cool. Alright, so we're going down through some more wooded terrain again. Okay. What kind of species of backrus are you seeing here? This looks like coyote brush. I was thinking this might have been willow backrus, but no, this looks like Backrus pilaris consanguinea. Underneath, Backrus salicifolia salicifolia. And there's still some fall color on some of the poison oak. A few leaves still left on them. You'll still see a little touch of the fall color left on it. Yeah, there's a whole thicket of poison oak in here, so stay on the trail. Don't be sorry later. Okay, well, this is kind of cool. You can tell water was running through here recently. You can tell the way the grasses and leaves are all favoring the downhill direction. Wow. Ooh. Got a little Fremont cottonwood up here too. This one's just about all leafless for winter now. Oh, nice. A nice, pretty decent looking cottonwood. Beautiful tree. And it's got a little homie right there too. Another Fremont cottonwood. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. A lot of coastal sage scrub on that side. I'll have to get a few pictures. Here's something interesting. Curious kind of euphorbia. Here's an interesting type of euphorbia right here. Not sure what species this is. Very dense packed shrub. I honestly couldn't tell you what species this is because I have no clue. Kind of similar to the Euphorbia tierracalii, but this is not. I don't think. This is something different. Pretty interesting looking though. I'll have to do some research on this one too. Looks like I'm almost at my turnaround already, unfortunately. We'll see. I wonder if there's any way I could vary this up a little bit. I'm kind of curious. Get some pictures of this guy here. So I've been telling you about collecting pieces of Coast Cholla. Now this is a canyon park, so I'm not going to collect here. But this is what I was telling you. See these little pieces that fall off the ground? Get them before they root into the soil. You can take them home. Again, I'm not going to take it from here in a canyon open space because plants are protected, and I don't do that. Now on the side of a random road, on the side of Mission Gorge Road where there is no preserve, I did pick up a couple pieces from the ground. And I'd prefer to do that than to actually break off the plant. I try to avoid that. But you see, they fall off so easily. These are actually detached. This is detached. It's eventually going to fall to the ground. Hopefully if enough rain comes, it'll go ahead and take root. So we're getting a nice little patch of Coast Cholla here. Got a nice little patch of it here in this Backrus field. Yeah. Wow, that is so cool. And we got some more coast prickly pear too. They're two fairly closely related species. I don't think they can hybridize, but I know chollas can hybridize with other chollas, and opuntias, aka prickly pears, can hybridize with prickly pears. Very nice. Yeah, so I think this is Portobello, I think. Yeah, this has got to be Portobello. It's not that far from where I came out from Mission Trails, I think. Not that far. Hoping there's another little trail in there I can explore, but I don't think so. There's a little mini park right here. I think it's called Shepherd Canyon Mini Park, I believe. A nice Canary Island pine. It's got new green cones growing in it. A handsome young tree. Yep. Tierrasanta's got some really cool little hiking spots. If you're looking for a big, huge mountain climb, then you can leave Tierrasanta towards Mission Trails. Look at this old root burrow. Look at this. This is a broombacchus. Look at that. It's got these little burrows on it. Crazy. We've got some oleander here. Nerium oleander. Common non-native plant that is grown here. Yeah. I think over there I think is where I came out last time. So this is my turnaround. This is my turnaround spot here. Oh, but first I'm gonna have to stop in that park. I see something interesting over there. I'm gonna get back to you in a minute. There's something growing in there that needs to be checked out. Got a bald cypress here. It's still got fall color on it too. That one even has a few cones in it. I think. Looks like it. Yeah. Taxodium disticum, variety disticum. Look at that. It's another, this is actually a coniferous tree. It's a cone-bearing tree in the cypress family that bears its seeds and cones like other conifers like cypresses, junipers, and pines. Again, this is in the cypress family, Cupressaceae. So this is a deciduous conifer, a winter deciduous conifer that sheds its foliage in autumn and goes leafless for winter. There's a young one here too. Ah, that's pretty cool. It's got cones on it too. So it is more closely related to these, the true pines. And these are obviously in a different family, but they are conifers as well. Pinaceae, seeds and cones as well. More closely related to pines than these guys here. I think this is a Escallonia, I think is what this is, a common garden plant. I believe this is Escallonia. But yeah, look at that. We got a little fall color on it too. Taxodium disticum, variety disticum. Yeah, I do see those planted. Not extremely frequently, but frequently enough to where they're noticeable. Cool, I can get some pictures of this tree. And I definitely get some of that conifer aroma. It does have a little bit of an aroma. These are some of the dead branchlets. So it's not just the leaves that fall off, it's the branchlets. And they have a nice aroma too, bald cypress. It does have a little bit of a resinous aroma. And these are the cones right here. Very much like your typical cypress cones, kind of rounded. There in the center you can see those globular cones, indicative of its affinity to the Cupressaceae. Tree, the genus Taxodium used to be in its own family, the Taxodiaceae, with its other relatives, the redwoods, the sequoias, I believe the cryptomerias, and the metasequoias, the dawn redwoods. They were all used to be listed as Taxodiaceae, but they were merged with Cupressaceae. So pretty cool. I guess I'll sit back here, just get a sip of water, and then start working my way back, I guess. Pretty neat. Alright, so I'm ready to leave the park. A California sycamore right here, Platanus racemosa. This one hasn't even started shedding its leaves yet. Sometimes these trees are very late to shed their leaves. There's another one right across the park too. Yeah, this one hasn't even started shedding its leaves. And that Canary Island pine. That's another smaller one here. Alright. I wonder if there is a trail down there. I hope. That'd be nice if there were. I don't think there's one down there though. Kind of a shame because I'd love to explore more of that down there. But yeah, I got some small throat lozenges. I've been sucking those down like candy lately. Haven't done a whole lot to help me out, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Yeah, there we go. There's that little bald cypress tree. Yeah, it's a little cholla garden. All these little things sticking up, those are all coast chollas that arose from fallen stems. They very rarely produce viable seed per my knowledge. I think their viability is either very low or they just don't produce seeds very often. They do grow in some very harsh, extremely dry ecotones. We got a Catalina cherry over here too. That bush right there by the fence. Yeah, that's a Catalina cherry. Prunus ilicifolia lyonii. That's a Catalina cherry right there. It's a very short hike, but definitely got some pretty cool stuff. Check out. Just if you like native plants and stuff like that, which obviously I do very much. And there they are, 2 Fremont cottonwoods. You get a picture of these. I think we do have some willow baccharis here. This one appears to be Baccharis salicina. Yeah, this is Baccharis salicina right here. This is the willow baccharis. Very similar looking to coyote brush, only the leaves are a little longer, a little narrower, and are a little more tooth-edged. And coyote brush has got some teeth on the edge of the leaves, but it's usually on the upper part of the leaf. Yeah, this appears to be Baccharis salicina here too. So how many baccharis have I seen today? Baccharis sarothorides, broom baccharis. Baccharis ilicifolia, subspecies ilicifolia, mule fat. Again, Baccharis salicina, willow baccharis. And coyote brush, Baccharis pilolarus, subspecies consanguinea. Yeah, see, the leaves are a little different. A little more rounded on the top. Not as predominantly toothed as the edge of Baccharis salicina. So yeah, that's pretty cool. In a small little 20 square foot area. 4 species of baccharis. Now we do have more species of baccharis here in Southern California. Some of which are found more on the desert side. And a couple of more herbaceous species found here on the coastal side. So we do have some pretty good baccharis diversity here in Southern California. There's some winter dormant poison oak right here. Yeah, this one's leafless. There's actually quite a bit of it. If you look downhill from the trail, some of it actually gets really close to the trail. Right here, this little twig in front of the camera, that's a poison oak twig. This right here, this is poison oak. A lot of this slope from here down towards the canyon bottom is covered in poison oak. From here on up, I don't really see any over here. But yeah, it does come pretty close to the trail in spots, so watch where you reach before you go rubbing a plant leaf. Make sure you watch where you're rubbing. Again, mixing it with the sagebrush, there is some poison oak in there, so be careful. Just a friendly reminder. Pretty cool little canyon. I thought the trails would be a little bit long. I thought the trail would be a little bit longer looking at Google Earth, but definitely a small treat if you're just looking to stretch your legs and get a little walking in. I won't say a huge hike. I mean, probably less than 150 feet of elevation gain, I think. Maybe up to about 150 feet. A couple little ups and downs here and there. Especially when you get close to the roads. That's where you'll get the uphills and downhills. Hiking up towards the road and hiking downhill from the road down to the canyon. Other than that, I'd have to say that this hike, I would rate this as probably 0.5 out of 10 in level of difficulty. There's our little diversion from earlier. Definitely a very easy hike. Definitely some reward. A, you're out in nature. B, you're out in nature. C, you are getting a little exercise. And D, you're out in nature. So, again, it's not deep wilderness stuff, but sometimes it's nice just to appreciate the little things in life. And those little things can have a big impact if you let them, whether it's good or bad. Ooh. Oh, I don't recognize that bird. It was mostly black with white markings on its wings. I don't recognize that. Ain't no spotted towhee. What the heck that was? Never seen a bird like that before. Small, maybe about 6-7 inches from beak to wing to beak to tail tip. I don't know. Beautiful bird though. It was mostly black with some white oval-shaped spots towards the wingtips, the edge of the feathers. Oh. Oh, rest in peace, pumpkin. That's sad. Probably somebody's dog. So, we got some verbena. I don't think that's verbena. Well, that might be verbena. I don't know if that's verbena lasiostachys, or the other species. I can't remember right now. That was a small verbena. I can hear, and it's hummingbirds humming in the canyon. And another bird sound. Kind of sounds like a screech. Look at this black sage. Wow. Yeah, it's really leafing out. Yeah, that November rain really got these guys excited. I'm afraid the extended outlook looks very poor for any chances of rain here through at least to the end of the period, the end of the extended forecast model period, which goes out towards the 18th. We were originally looking at a storm around the 15th, but the forecast models I think the European and the GFS models, global, have backed away from that. I do keep do watch a lot of weather reports, and I look on this one site called Tropical Tidbits to see if there's any hope of rain coming in our extended outlook. Okay, let's go just off trail just a little bit over here. Got a little drainage gutter over here too. You can see where the water flows during the rainier periods. That's up canyon, of course, and that's down canyon. So it throws to this culvert here, goes through the other side. You can see the other culvert on the other side, a little bit ways past the other entrance to the canyon. Let's get a few more pictures here, and I'm going to move on. Ooh, I didn't notice this before. We actually have a yerba santa over here too. Ariodictyon crassifolium, variety crassifolium. Thickleaf yerba santa growing here. There's not a lot of it in this canyon, but there is a small patch of it here. It's just a couple of plants. Now there are a few more. There are a few more going up canyon too. There's one here, and there are a few more smaller ones right over here between the lemonade berry and the toyon. Pretty cool. Okay. It's kind of neat to see. There's another jet. Interesting. Yeah. It's a Marine Corps Air Base, so you know it's going to be pretty noisy. If you live in Tierrasanta, Kearney Mesa, and Claremont, you'll hear that a lot. Pretty close. Must be on maneuvers or something. When I was a kid, I was into military jets and planes in general. So, of course, back then, yeah, I was geeking when I would hear and look up and see them flying around. All right, so we're just about to cross the road again. Here we go. So this is upper North Shepherd Canyon, and across the street on Google Earth, Google Maps, is lower North Shepherd Canyon. Nice aloe. Pretty handsome. So rejoin the trail back here. Go join over there. Pretty cool. See you on the next clip. Alright. I think this is Minorca. Oh, no, it's Via Vallarta. Oh no. Via Rica. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna join the trail here. Start going down this way, re-enter the canyon at a slightly different spot. But I'm gonna go explore over here for a second. See if there's any trail going down this side, which I doubt. If there is, that'd be great. I don't think there is. There's a drainage gutter going up this way. I don't think there's any trail over here per se. Headphone warning. Ooh. Very loud. Maybe let's go hike up this just a short distance. I'm not gonna go too too far because this is going to lead up to houses and stuff, and I don't want to be doing that. Just kind of want to explore this for a minute or two. Just kind of curious. Pretty cool. You add a little extra adventure to it. Cool. That's kind of where we end here. I'm going to end over here. Pretty cool. So I'm on Via Rica. That's the road right there. Corte Playa, Barcelona. And there's North Shepherd Canyon. Cool. Cool little spot up here. See, I'm not going to go any further because it's not really a trail. There we go. That one's different. It's either an F22 or F35. I can't really tell from here. Sorry about this lousy camera work. I was kind of too busy looking at the plane instead of the camera. This is a small use trail. I'm just going to follow this up a little bit. Alright, this is kind of where it ends, so I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to bushwhack in the sage scrub and make a mess out of it. Cool, got a little climb. Very nice. Kind of nice. I'm going to have to switch batteries though. My camera's about to die on me. Yeah, this is the least disturbed of the vegetation. That's why I'm not going any further, so I don't make more of an inroad in on it. Stopping here because this is kind of where the end is. I'm not going to bushwhack in this beautiful coastal sage scrub. Look at this beautiful white sage here. What a handsome specimen. Beautiful plants. So I'm not going any further so I don't bushwhack. I'm not trying to disturb, make inroads over here. And there's another jet right there. I think those are, those might be F-22s. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've really paid attention to jets and stuff, so my knowledge is not like it used to be when I was a kid. I used to be able to tell you what kind of jet it was and stuff. Alright, I'm going to go back to the little drainage culvert, head my way back down. Just felt like I needed to spice it up just a little bit. Just a quick little side trip. Back down the drainage gully. Just a short little climb up here. Pretty neat. Alright. See you down the way. But first, San Diego bush sunflower. Bahiopsis laciniata. Starting to leaf out. Finally got some rain. Yeah, I think that other jet sighting, that second jet sighting, or that last one, I think it was the same one from before. I think it's just circling. Maybe it hasn't got a clearance to land. Alright, so just had to check this little culvert out. Every now and then I've been known to climb up one of these just to add some spice to the mix. Alright, see you down the way. Alright. Entering the last little bit here. This is where I start going down into the canyon again. So just crossed. So I just went up that. Drainage culvert, and then went just up a little bit that way to the east. All right. Up here, over here, and see if I can find a trail or something. If there's another one going down this way, I kind of want to check it out. There's another culvert. It doesn't really lead down into the canyon per se. Pretty nice though. I wish there was a trail down in the canyon down there. That part would be pretty cool to see. Pretty nice though. Alright, so I'm gonna go take this. If I find another spur, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna be here at least. Try to give you guys as much footage of what I see. You know, I love exploring these little canyons and stuff, and really love checking it out to see what I can find. So I made four little stops today so far. The last one being up on that drainage culvert up on the north. On that north-facing slope on the south rim of the canyon, which was very nice. A little wilder. Look at that jet again. It's gonna get loud again. Headphone warning. See you on the next clip. I remember from earlier, I saw this one, I think it was a Podocarpacii right over there. I think that might be Afrocarpus gracilior. There are a few others here. Could be a Podocarpus too. But yeah, there's another one down there. There's at least another one plus a couple other smaller seedlings over there. And it there's another one over there. So somebody must have a Podocarpus or Afrocarpus. And its seeds are washing down this gulch here. That's crazy. That might be a Podocarpus. The leaves are a little large for Afrocarpus gracilior. It might be Podocarpus something. Not sure exactly. Interesting. Huh. Mexican fan palms. Get a few pictures over here. Oh, okay. Bluecaia odorata, variety odorata. Marsh fleabane, full in seed. so we are on the return leg. I will keep an eye to see if there are any little side shoots on any of these sides besides the ones I've already taken. I believe this is more of a straight shot back here, but definitely want to keep an eye. I thought there might have been one. There might have been one closer to the trailhead. Boy. I think that's the same jet too that just keeps swinging by. Maybe maybe he or she hasn't gotten cleared to land. I think it's the same jet. Pretty peaceful out here though. So yeah, I'll keep my eyes to the hopeful possibility that there is something branching off. I can explore another nook or something, but until then, I'm just going to keep on hiking back, and I'll see you along the way. Here's a brief little open spot here. I mean, I already traveled that side right there, but I'll get to this pretty tall toyon right here. That's a pretty tall toyon. Looks like it's had its struggles over the years, but still got some beautiful red pomes on it. And there's that poor Aleppo pine that's really struggled as of recently. That jet again. So headphone warning again. So I was on that side over there earlier, and there's that small Aleppo pine. Just doing a little extra exploration on the way out, so I'm going to join the main trail again and swing off to the left here, heading relatively south-ish through the canyon. All right, okay. See if there are any more side shoots along the way. Okay, so we're in a mix of black sage and white sage. So that means there's potentially some hybrid sage growing in along here. Here's another little passageway here. Again, it's just going to lead down by the creek where I was before, but may as well take it. Ooh, what do we got going on in here? Some heavy bird activity in the shrubbery here. Can't tell. Can't see them too well. Probably California quail. Bet you that's what that is. Bet you that's California quail. See if I can get over there quickly enough to see him across the path. I can see. There was some stuff flapping around and higher up in the shrubs, and a bunch of birds hopping around on the ground. That much activity's got to be California quail down there. Just curious. I think there's some quail down there. Yeah, we are. Oh, this is like a small use trail here too. Alright, well I'm going to take this a little further. Make sure I'm not getting on poison oak over here. Oh, cool. Here's where the seasonal creek runs, right down here. Wow. Pretty neat. So you can see where the water runs during the rainier periods. Pretty neat. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to take advantage of this by exploring these little nooks and crannies right now, so I can at least get a better picture of what's going on. And of course, there's a lot of arroyo willow here too. There's a pretty hefty little specimen here. Oh, there's even a small blue elderberry right there. It's starting to get some green leaves on it. Some Sambuca cerulean. There's a pretty tall lemonade berry here too. Looks like this one had gone through some rough patches, but it's still pulling through. And that's where all the birds are running back and forth. I think they've probably moved on by now. Okay, I'm going to join this, continue on to the right, and continue my way back, see at the next possible route. Actually, which is right here. Now, I'm not going to go all the way up to the houses, but I will go along this for a short distance, just to see if there are any plant or animal surprises. Well, I think this just leads to a street, actually. Yeah, all right. Try to get as much mileage out of this as I can. Cool, a little patch of California sagebrush, almost a pure stand of it here, actually. A little black sage mixing in, but it's about all California sagebrush here. They up to these condos. Alright, that's a cool little side trip. Some more fall color too. Nice. Pretty cool. There's some fall color over here too. Crepe myrtles. Still have leaves on them. Pretty nice. Cool. Nothing but really short little paths, but I just love getting a little extra footage of this area. Alright. Keep going back down towards the trail. Small coast live oak sapling right there too. I like these little side paths too, because they just add just a little extra flavor to my hike. And that just being a very short hike to begin with, just adds to the charm of this small canyon. I'll come out this side. Cool, and that was where I entered. Okay, back to heading south again. See what else I find. All right, found my next little side trip right over here. All right, okay. Another little opening in the trail. So what are we going to find at the end of this little opening here? Some more luscious prickly pear. Most likely the littoralis type. There's a lot of this too. Another native plant that likes these disturbed sites. Western ragweed, Ambrosia silostachia. And yes, it's native. Oh, the Eucalyptus comodolensis here. And some bigger prickly pear thickets here that are a little different looking. The density on these long spines on these ones, there might be some hybrid DNA in that one there. Yeah, some of these prickly pears are quite just a little different, quite a bit different looking. Alright, so we end here at this little drainage here. Yeah. There's more broombaccharis and seed. These are easy plants to grow. Very easy plants to grow. And here's California sagebrush. Oh yeah. A fragrance that always hits right. Yeah, these prickly pears are something different. It's definitely, I mean, I'm almost guaranteeing there's got to be some hybrid DNA in these. I wonder if this one's also a hybrid between Opuntia littoralis, the coast prickly pear, and the chaparral prickly pear. There is a slight bit of upward growth indicative of auricola, but definitely not enough to make it a pure auricola. But as well, another interesting thing about this is the density of the long spines. Definitely looks like it would have some Opuntia auricola in it. I wonder if it could be Opuntia auricola slash Ficus indica, the non-native plant that grows a lot here. So I don't know. It's possible. All right. Get ready to hit the trail again, head back and see what other kind of possible finds may be occurring here. So let's see. Let's get back on the trail. Again, I'm on the back portion of the hike. I don't think I have that much longer to go. I think I'm approaching the trailhead pretty soon, so I'm hoping to find any more excuses to branch off and explore another little side chute. Well, let's see how that works out. Hopefully there'll be a couple more before this is over. All right, found the next one. And these aren't real trails, but they definitely don't require bushwhacking and a lot of extra disruption. So I am taking these little side trips. More western ragweed over here. Wow. Oh, this goes a little ways too. Cool. Oh. Some of this looks like saltgrass down here. The Stickless spicata. It does grow. I usually find it near the coast, but I think it does grow inland sometimes. Okay, this one goes a little further. Okay, I like these longer ones too. Oh yeah. Some type of mushroom there. Okay, let's see what's over here. Let's see if there's any water down here. Yeah. Cool, there's a little water down here. Wow. I love these little offshoots, I'm telling you. This is what's really making this even more interesting. And here's another one of these interesting prickly pears. I'm pretty sure this one here has Ficus indica in it. I'm pretty sure this one has a non-native DNA in it. But I don't think this is definitely does not look like pure Ficus indica. This definitely has some native influence in it as well. And here we are, the fruits. They call them tunas in Spanish. Tunas. Las Tunas. That's a delicacy. Oh, and what do we have here? California fuchsia. Yes, Epilobium conum, subspecies conum. Wow, cool. Yeah, these are the seed capsules that split open for the little tufted seeds. Seeds are almost like sunflower type seeds. They're not related. They're in the Onagraceae family, whereas sunflowers are in the Asteraceae family. Yeah, look at that. I'm pretty sure that has to have some influence of Auricola in it too. But it could also just have influence of Littoralis and Ficus indica. That one's definitely more upright. And there's more Coast Choya. Look at that. Right over there. And there's a little fall color too. That sweet gum there, still pretty well in fall color. Whereas that sweet gum's already shed its leaves for winter. Okay, this goes off a little bit. I'm kind of interested in checking out as much as I can. Okay, this is kind of where I'm going to end it here. Yeah, the fragrance of the mule fat is very strong here because it's all over the place. I do love these little off the beaten path portions. This is usually where the juiciest stuff occurs. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty worthy adventure coming to this canyon. Alright. Head back to the trail. There's another fuchsia right here. The flowers are pretty much done for the year, but imagine this would be a really spanking plant to grow in your yard for some beautiful color. And like I said, I'm not going to collect seeds here because this is an open space canyon. So I'm trying to see, are these? Yeah, I think these are. I don't know if this is actually Bermuda grass or salt grass. The difference is Bermuda grass is not native. It's perennial. And the difference with the other one, the salt grass, it is native, but it's also a perennial as well. I don't see any old seed heads, so it's kind of hard to tell, honestly, because Bermuda grass and salt grass are pretty similar looking. They kind of have similar growth habits, so it's kind of hard to tell. Oh well. Alright. See you back at the trail. Yeah, I think that might have been the last offshoot, I think. Fortunately. I'm just about to come up on Tiwa. Again, right across the street is another canyon for hiking, which is East Shepherd Canyon. I think I see some blue-eyed grass starting to sprout. This plant right here, that looks like blue-eyed grass, I think. Yeah, this is Erynchium bellum. That plant, that small plant, is one of the coolest wildflowers. Because most of the time it just looks like grass, or you don't even see it because it's dormant. It's dormant because the leaves dry up and the plant stays alive through its bulb in the ground, its bulb or whatever it has in the ground. And then it sprouts leaves in winter, and then spring it blows up. Beautiful purplish blue flowers, small flowers. They are absolutely strikingly beautiful, ridiculously beautiful. All right, so like I said, East Shepherd Canyon is right over there, and we are just about to end this adventure, unfortunately. So I gotta go headed back this way. I'm parked on a little side street off of Antigua, across the road here. I forget the name of it right now. I'll put the name in the text. But right there, that's Santo Road. This is Antigua Boulevard. So the first left after you cross Santo is a small side street where I'm parked. So this is East Shepherd Canyon here. You can have some good hiking over there too. It's a beautiful canyon too. Been there once back in 2022. So unfortunately this hike's almost over for me. Let's see, I think this is purple sage here. Yeah, it's a Salvia leucophylla, purple sage. Not really native here, but if you go further north into Orange County and northbound, this plant can become locally common. But down here, it does naturalize. I've seen it in a few spots here in San Diego County as well. It's a Southern California native. It's just not a San Diego County native. It looks a lot like its Cleveland sage, but has a sharper aroma. It doesn't have as much of a sweetness. Here's another type of sage relative right here. Doesn't have the fragrance. This is related too. Get a couple pictures of this. There's a common find naturalizing here in Southern California. Parkinsonia aculeata, Mexican palo verde. Yep. Very commonly, it does naturalize sometimes too. You'll see it, you'll find it out in wildlands sometimes. Yeah, but since it's rained, it is starting to get leaves on it. These leaves are bipinnately compound. They have two sets of leaflets joined here at the base. So the leaves are basically sessile. Right at the base, splits off. So this is a leaflet, this is a leaflet with some subleaflets on it. Bipinnately compound. Parkinsonia aculeata. And of course, Brachykitten pulponaeus subspecies pulponaeus. Yes. And it's got seeds. Right here in these seed capsules. These are the seeds right here. If I can actually show them to you. Sorry about the camera work here, but these little orange things in there are the seeds, if you can see them. Right here. Bottle tree. Yep. You can check out my Trees of San Diego episode for more information about the bottle tree. If you're interested. They have several of them planted around here on the other side as well. Yep. This is another Aussie native tree that grows well here in warmer Southern California climates. Alright, well, all I do is just cross the road and get down just a little bit. So this is basically going to end it for me on this one. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed coming along on yet another canyon here in Tierrasanta that's got some pretty cool little hidden nooks and some pretty nice trail scenery. See you on the next video.